I call Tracy Martin.
Kia ora, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much. First of all, can I acknowledge the teachers that have all in the last 2 weeks returned to the classroom? I hope they had a break. I hope that I know that with the schools that I have driven past, that teachers have actually been there at least a fortnight before the students have returned, doing preparation and making sure that they are up to speed and having teacher-only days to set the course for the rest of the year. And I want to reiterate what Catherine Delahunty just said. Hold on. I mean, it's been 7 years. We're entering our 7th year, I believe, of the attack on the teaching profession by the national government. And all I can say is to support what Catherine said to you. They can't last forever. Hold on. We will get through at the end of the day. This is a profession that only the most honourable of us actually enter. And of the, I don't know how many thousands upon thousands of teachers there are in this country, in the last 10 years or something like that, there's only been 55 of them that have caused any serious misdemeanour or whatever. And yet, this code of conduct conversation that goes on inside this bill would to suggest to parents, the rhetoric from this government suggests to parents that your children are in peril when they go to school. The code of conduct alterations inside this bill is, we believe, a knee-jerk reaction to what is a mistaken belief out there that has been encouraged, assisted, helped along by the National Party to shift across their program of privatisation and distrust of the public education system, that you can't get rid of a teacher. I went to Vanguard Military School because I have an open mind. And unlike what some people might accuse us of, New Zealand First is open to having a look at things, seeing whether they work for children and for New Zealanders, so we go and have a look. And I went to Vanguard. And it was very interesting. The haka that was put on by the children, lovely haka. I don't know what you call the gentleman, I don't think he's a principal, I think he's a general manager. He said to me as we walked away, you'd never be able to get a full school haka at a public school. And I said to him, oh, how funny. There's 1,500 children at Maharangi College who can do their own school haka. They don't have to borrow it off Ngāti Whātua. And then we went to his office and he said, oh, but you can't get rid of teachers. Can't get rid of teachers. And that's what Mr. Seymour thinks too. That's why Mr. Seymour and that insidious little voice that he has that starts to push education policy through the National Party, he believes also that you can't get rid of teachers in this country. But we have appraisal process, we have competency, we have laws of natural justice, but the code of conduct, you have a listen to what it says inside of here. The code of conduct is specifically there. Here you go. This is from the revised departmental report, July 2014. The lack of a code of conduct could make employers' assessment of professional conduct arbitrary and problematic. That's actually a really nice way to say, if we want to get rid of you, we want to get rid of you now. If we don't like one thing or something about what you're doing in your classroom, or if you stand up against us because you're standing up for that child because you believe that that child shouldn't be ostracised or excluded or whatever, and we don't like it, you will have broken the code of conduct and we will fire you. That's what this is about. This is about making sure that teachers do as they're told. That's what this is about, because the government mistakenly seems to believe that the teachers are their employees. The government seems to think that because they think teachers are their employees and therefore their employees should do as they are told, or down the road with you. The boards of trustees employ the teaching staff. The government is merely the paymaster. The boards of trustees are the people who are responsible for the employment and the appraisal and the competency through the direction of the principal around those employees. And it's all there. There is no need for a code of conduct. There is no need at all, but it's a quick way to fire somebody, and it's come out of the Business Association, I'll guarantee it. 1,525 submissions, only 13 in support. There's consultation for you. It is getting tiring. What a shame. What a shame it is to start the political year again trying to explain to National Party ministers that Consultation is not asking everybody what they think and then doing what you want anyway. And I know that the National Party ministers find consultation incredibly irritating. I know they do. Mr Finlayson has said it before. It's nothing but a waste of time. Ms Parata did the same thing again around Christchurch. I know it's annoying. Democracy takes time. Democracy takes energy. Democracy means you've got to work with other people. Unfortunately, National Party doesn't like democracy, which is why to have the minister repeat the word independent 3 times in her contribution here this evening to try and get that embedded into the psyche of the New Zealand public, when what is true about the bodies that are being organised here is they are all minister appointed. If she doesn't like you, you won't get on. If he doesn't like you, you won't get on. And they can say it's at arm's length, left, right and centre, but it's not. Until there is true democracy and the people that pay for the body get to elect the people onto the body, then it's not independent. It's a farce. And it's a misrepresentation of that word and a misrepresentation of this legislation. I want to pick up on one thing, however. And now Dr Zhang Yang, Chair of the Education and Science Select Committee, he said in his contribution, this government gives special attention to education. Poor things, that's all we can say about that, poor things. You have had special attention of this government for 7 years. And again I say, as Catherine Delahunty said, hold on, don't let them grind you down. We are coming, we will get there. And I say to the rest of New Zealand who aren't teachers, teachers are people too. Teachers are people too. They deserve the same respect inside their workplace. They deserve the same levels of natural justice. They deserve the same rights as everybody else. A teacher said to me the other day, if my students do well inside my class, they are rewarded, they get a pat on the back, they've worked hard and their parents take them out for tea or something. If my students fail, it's my fault. And that is what's being perpetuated by this government. And unfortunately, Mr Davis said the same thing. Mr Davis said in his contribution, teachers who do really well in reading but not so good in writing. Now, I will guarantee you that every person who is a teacher, a registered qualified teacher inside a mainstream school, not a person inside a charter school, a registered qualified teacher can read and can write at an appropriate level. This is not about the teachers reading and writing, it's about the students. And we've lost sight of the students. We've turned them into numbers. We've got a new league table out in the last couple of days that now sets iwi against iwi. How interesting. We now know which iwi outperforms what other iwi, depending on where their rohi is and how they've identified themselves in mainstream schools. How useful is that to the contribution of education in this country? So you've got Ngāti Whakaua now standing up and saying, we are at the top of the iwi trail because that league table tells us so. How useful. If you were any other iwi, why would you self-identify inside our schools? And Mr Joyce there talks about the fact that this is to make tertiary governance more streamlined, more flexible, more whatever and ever. There is no proof of that, no proof of that at all. But I will tell you exactly what this is, New Zealand. Not a single university came and supported this legislation, not a single one. But the wānanga did not come to submit. The wānanga did not put in any submission around this bill, but when we pressed the public servants, what we found out was this came from the wānanga. This is a nod to the wānanga. The removal of the student voice, the removal of the staff voice came from the wānanga. I suggest the staff and students ask the wānanga why.
Paul Foster-Bell.
Mr Speaker, I stand to relieve members' ears.